Putting that on, and then, of course, we're gonna start TikTok as well. I think I just slept wrong. Shh. Okay, we're live. Ooh, all right, chat. Mystical Aurora. Yo, yo, yo. Hi, Mystic. Nice to see you here. As you can see, we are now. New place. Bit of a change in atmosphere. I saw that my streams were a little bit more on the gloomy side. So, you know what? Why not freshen up, sit here in this lovely bistro, have a even more lovely companion, and yeah, enjoying the sights here, right? Nice and bright. Except for my tail clipping to the post, just ignore that. Come here, tail, you do need to behave. There.
Seems our tails have a mind of their own today. I can't even catch mine.
That's true. A date with Vesper. Please, her just passing the time. Gambles in Paris, says Darwin. I mean, sure. Fancy, says Mystic. Hi there, Nilo. But yes, good day to you. My humble apologies if I didn't show up on stream yesterday. I I needed a bit of a break again. Why? Because let's just say my throat wasn't at its best condition. I think I may be running into, well, I dare say a cold. I hope not. I really hope not. But yeah. Argonite says, I'm waiting for a whole 2 days. Where were you? Having a life? I mean, yeah, I've actually been trying to recuperate. Right? Look, as much as a streamer wants to like be online 24/7 every single day, they do need to watch out for their health, right, Vesp?
Exactly. I mean, I was sick last, what was it, November? You definitely tried to keep me out of streams.
Mm-hmm. Also, my apologies. My last stream, I didn't notice that I was streaming only at 1080p. Well, we're back to the usual resolution now. And before, I only used to run like 30 FPS in this bistro world. But thanks to a rather, well, timely hardware upgrade, here we are now at maximum fidelity. Mystic says, no, we don't need another person sick. I'm trying my best, Mystic. Unlike a certain mechatronic dragon who pushes himself when he's sick, I, on the slightest sign of not feeling great, I rest and recuperate. You know me, I sleep a lot. Esper knows this too. Quite familiar
Yes,
with
I had to
my...
give him the puppy dog eyes.
Yes. Puppy dog eyes so I don't take sleep. Yes, I'm staying awake. And yes, we're hanging out after stream for VR chat, alright? You Mystic, Axiom, you're invited too. What's this? You know what? This is already my favorite environment that you've been. Listen, Axiom, I wasn't able to stream here before due to performance issues. But lo and behold, a whole plethora of worlds is now accessible to my streams. Isn't it lovely? We should spend time here as friends sometime. Mystic says, I can't say nothing since I was running about sick as a dog. Mystic, I just know you're headstrong and stubborn too. But at least unlike Mecha, you aren't like as frail as Japanese paper. Hold on, let me adjust my filters. My gain is a tad bit too much. Put it down to like There we go. 3.5 dB seems like a happy medium. Uh, hello, Zlans, and who else is this? Berkut, of course, Berkut. Argonite. Will you have a croissant? I look, as you can clearly see, the table is rather vacant at the moment. Why? Look, the agency doesn't exactly give us like cafe budget. You know, we do have a food allowance, but that isn't exactly as generous as one would expect. All right. It's just enough. They give us enough for gas to go to wherever we need to go and to go back. They give us a bit of food. They call it rations, like a ration budget. And yeah, we're not supposed to afford anything fancy. Most of what you're seeing right now is just us sitting freely in a cafe with ordering the bare minimum. This isn't even our wine.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Hi there, Fall. Nice to see you. Also, Stephanie Lovat, of course. A welcome sight, as always. Okay, I gotta scroll up because there was a huge wall of decks that showed up. Hi there, Hayden. Uh, hmm. What if I'm always sick? Axiom. Here's the thing. If you're always sick, that sort of turns into the norm, which means you aren't sick all the time. You see how it means? It's like a paradox.
What, you thought my tail was a little dog?
Hmm?
Someone thought my tail was a dog. Oh, it's my tail.
That's your that's your tail.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
can't catch my tail. Don't ask me to say it after that.
I know your tail is worth behaving properly anyway. You don't have to do anything about it. It was my tail that was, well, yeah, it's behaving for now. Okay, chat. Ah, yes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So yeah, what do you think about the environment, the whole change of atmosphere? I mean, I'll surely be adding this to the rotation of places I am live, but yeah. Argonite, you just lost your Twitch privileges. Mystical Aurora would not keep up with your wall of text and she bonked you back to TikTok. Now, don't waste the last chance you have, okay? Ivan says it's great. Stephanie loves it too. Shh. What are you talking about?
Hmm?
No, it's not there. Sorry, yeah. Hayden was pointing something out that I will not say because you cannot unsee it if I say it. Okay. Either Mini and Kiriko with the super duper one biddies. Hi there, Mugbug. Kian. Oh, my shoulder is still so stiff. I think I slept wrong tonight. You know when you like sleep on your side in a weird way, like your shoulders like forward, and I'm more of a back sleeper, Jan.
Yeah. He's a back sleeper. I'm a side sleeper.
Mystic says, personally, this is a lot better. Vibrant colors for the win. I bet it's quite refreshing for all of you seeing me in like this environment. Yeah, I don't mind this place thing. It's refreshing. Hi there, Purple Mint. It's okay, Hayden. It made sense though. It's not that cold here. There's nice bright sunlight and yeah, nice bright sunlight. Let's see. Let's get this right, chat. Hmm. Hmm. There we go. How many viewers are we watching today? So we have 20 on TikTok and we have 15 over at Twitch. Good morning. I am streaming at the compromise between my old schedule of 2 hours and a half past midnight and 7 hours and a half. So, yeah, it's currently 6:22 a.m. and I'm glad I'm not super late nor super early. Carl is asking, how did I get here? The algorithm probably knows the content that you're probably into and tossed you here my way into my life. Well, you can always sit down and become cozy. Thank you, Austin. That's actually a compliment. Your stream vibe is so cool, by the way, says the Mugbot. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just try to keep things grounded and relaxing. A bit different from the usual VR chat streams that is about. Now, I know all of the other content creators, they're fantastic in their own way, okay? Now, I try to offer something different, something a bit more casual, relaxed, and dare I say, cinematic. I've always wanted to, well, whenever I play games, I always say I wish the graphics was cutscene quality. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. Whenever I stream, I want it to be like a part of a cutscene. You see interesting perspectives. See, we have my conversation partner in front of me. And then you have the establishing shot, which is here at the cafe. Right? Bro's laugh is... Carl, gosh. I don't own a yacht. Maybe one day, I hope. When I'm like, based on my calculations, a house is 20 minutes. 358 years old. And that doesn't include monthly groceries. So are we in Italy or France? It says Art Gallery. Galerie. What? And there's the Boulanger. I think we're in France. We're in France. Camera angles are awesome.
Yeah.
Chill vibes and beautiful graphics. Thanks, Snip. Sorry, Vesper, you were saying.
Saying, huh? There's a sign up there that says Rue Marve Duplo.
Beep.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I butchered it. I only
Y-
took
you-
like
You know how I read it? It says
Yeah.
Le Petit Coin. That's Petit Coin. What?
the blue sign up there. I can't see the sign to the shop from over here.
Le Marvé du Pleur. That's how I read. I don't know. I'm making,
Probably both
I'm making
butchered
crap
that
up.
severely.
Yep, I bet a true Frenchie would like smack a hardened croissant on our foreheads right now. You need a bigger
I
thigh.
only finished.
Trust me.
Mm,
I've tried a longer one where it like reaches to my belt. It gets in the way. Like this thing already gets in the way a whole lot. JoJo Part 5. I haven't been there yet. I'm still stuck in the Egypt arc. I need to watch it with Axiom again. He's the number one guy who wants to watch it with me, yes. Maybe Vesper can join me in the whole JoJo binge watching sometime.
I haven't watched much of it though.
Well,
So I'd be jumping into an entirely new season, even though I haven't even gotten past episode 1.
how about you go watch season 1 and 2, and then you can, once you're coordinated with the episode sama, we can like watch it together. Action would love to watch it. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I'll
I'm
give it a
trying not to
shot.
spoil it. Well, you know, a whole lot of troubles involving eating time. There's Blender, Substance Painter, Monster Hunter Wilds. Me troubleshooting a plethora of things that seems to pop by every single day. And a lot of miscellaneous things. Troubleshooting. Mm-mm. Jojo Watch Party. Hello, Tyrus. Welcome to the stream. We can't see the sign. I know. I don't want to move the camera. It's so hard to set back. Sazon says, finally a guy that's not saying which VR headset, which tracker, and what is your setup. Stephanie agrees that getting smacked by a hard croissant indeed does sound painful. It's bread can turn into a very light melee weapon. Have you tried bread that didn't mold up, but you left it out like for a couple of days, and when you like smash it on the table, it's like, tok, tok, tok. Yeah, that sort of bread.
Eesh.
Except in like croissant form.
You do the motion like this. That's when a croissant is
Croissant
curved.
form.
That's
I
a
mean, sorry,
baguette.
a baguette, shit. The croissant is like the boomerang of the bread. That's what you throw when it comes back. A baguette is the one that's nice and long. The hammer bread, yes. The French hammer bread. I'm sorry, I made a mistake, okay?
It's okay.
Woman laughing her tail off.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, you wanted to see the sign, right? See, that's the thing. See, it says Rue Le Marvi Duplo. And then that's what I was reading. See, it says like Le Petit Coin. Was it coin? Funny.
Mm.
Funny, isn't it? Hold on, let me just stabilize the camera again. There we go.
Funny because chat's favorite item of yours is that coin.
Apparently so. Getting the baguette and croissant. Look, I'm not French, okay? And nor am I a baker. See, a croissant should have hit
Yeah,
your
no,
head
if
first.
there's if there's anyone who bakes here, it's probably me.
Yep. Wait,
I
you
bake
bake?
better than I cook. Yeah.
Hold on. There we go. I just need.
I'd mentioned it before, but if I had an air fryer cookie recipe, I would share, but I don't.
Well, I would eat it regardless. I'm not picky when it comes to how food looks, Jan. It's as long as how it tastes. Carl says he's not a baker, he's a coiner. What on earth is a coiner? Is that like mine for coins?
You
Tyrus
just
says,
collect them.
the friends are going to be angry with my dear fellow. Grab your pitchforks and torches. We have a hidden to burn. Oh dear. I hope not. Did you know the first French phrase I've ever learned in my life would come from this old cartoon from Cartoon Network? It's called Dexter's Laboratory. I do believe he was trying to like learn French lessons. He's a boy genius. French lessons, right? So he goes to bed while having a machine on his head to put all the French in while he's asleep. The thing is, it got stuck in just one phrase, which like says like cheese omelette. So for the entire day, the next day, he goes like omelette du fromage. That's all he says, every single line, phrase, and sentence. Omelette du
Cheese omelet.
fromage. Yes. Ah, yes, Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, I Am Weasel, Cow and Chicken, Powerpuff Girls. He get the girls thanks to that. That's true, Van Wolf. He did. It's like something about loving his accent. Say it again. It's like omelette du fromage. It's super funny. That is Solar. Thank you, yay, Miko. Does it look if it's zoomed in? Is it a little better? Hi there, John. DB Brigade. Mr. Gebbos asks Tyrus, what do you think of the theory of realities, timelines, and alternate dimensions? Oh, you mean Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? But there just any other place, any other job that needs to be done? Another report that needs to be filed? Oh, how about you visit the Dimension STRC 5672, where they call it the Cupcake Land. So you go there, but everything is sugar based, except the air. I'm not gonna expound on that. You can imagine that. I think you may have seen that in what was that cartoon? The Amazing Digital Circus. Remember with that poor old gummy alligator who went poof when he came back?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, if it isn't Matthew. I'm glad I could see you here. Now when am I gonna see you here? Come on, it's a lovely day. You should show yourself here in the cafe one time, Matthew. What better place to get introduced to VR chat than a table with friends? Okay. Hayden's asking, does anybody watch or remember Pepe Le Pew? Of course I know Pepe Le Pew. He always chases that cat that he thinks is a skunk. I'm sure Mystic here, who also is a bit older than the usual audience I have, is very familiar with another Looney Tunes character. The one that's named Taz. Mm-hmm. Are you Italian? Oh, no. No, I'm not. I would fit perfectly with the owl butler. Matthew says soon. I have to manage my time. Matthew, pray tell, what is your schedule? I'm curious. Blizzard the AV Geek. Hi there, Blizzard. Why do I love this place? Well, probably because this place is comfortable and different from the norm. I mean, look at the stable. I think you guys are stuck with the idea that all I like stream from would be places that are dark, dreary, heavy, like the butt end of a city, a barely serviceable apartment or office. So here you are catching Vesper and I, and Rare day where we're actually out in the field. So yeah.
No paperwork to stress over now. At least for now, yeah.
Paperwork. Those only belong on Mondays and no day else.
Mm-hmm.
Are you two having a don't say the D word? I missed you, Gabby. Well, thank you, Gab. Do you have a Discord server? I actually do. You know, if you put your phone closer to your face, you're gonna see somewhere here the Discord link.
It's not visible.
I was at one of the other agents. Bye bye. Good luck. It's a shadow agent. You should know who I mean. Different schedules and
Yeah,
all.
I know.
I love that her ears can move now. Chat. Vespa recently got a upgrade, and that's facial tracking. She got that, I think, 2 weeks ago.
No,
Was
been about a
it
week.
a week? A week only? Huh. It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah,
So
kinda.
yeah. But yes, isn't she lovely, chat? Look at that. So pretty, so picturesque. How could one not fall in love with a face like that? Would you look at, oh, sorry, the camera moved in a funny position. There you go. Hi there, Axiom. Hayden says good for you too. I got too much paperwork right now. Oh my. Hey. Camera, sometimes wonky. Poor reception. What is this world called? In case I haven't answered. This place is called the Bistro. That's a rather performance heavy world, given that there's actual proper directional lighting which casts like world shadows, as you can see. Notice the pavement, right? And my hand moving. There's shadows, which isn't present in most worlds in VR chat, unfortunately. But yeah. Also, pardon my rather long leggies if I seem to be encroaching Vesper's foot space. She's okay with it, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
One of the cons of being a tall person. I'm not super tall. I'm only 6'1", I think.
Yeah. It's okay. I don't sit like a lady anyways.
That's true. Vesper ain't no dainty, prancy lady. Other comrade. I missed him too. Oh. Blizzard is asking, why can't we have a tail IRL? You know what's funny? We actually do. It's just so short and vestigial that it isn't really functional. You should Google up what a coccyx is. It's part of our skeleton. Oh, Diablo. What is it? Is it like 2012? By the way, the music isn't too loud and overpowering my voice, right? During my last stream, I noticed the music was louder than my speaking voice. So I want to make sure everything is balanced today. Fly me to the moon. Lovely music, isn't it? Well, Mystic, we gotta have a playlist that surely fits the setting that we're at, right? Thank you, Diablo and Stephanie. I just wanted to make sure. On the flip side, the music isn't too low, right? You can still pick it up. Why, if it isn't Tita Frost, nice to see you. Good morning. A different setting indeed. It's me. There's Vesper. We're currently outside. We're just spending some time together. Well, there's still no work to do.
Hmm.
Where are you from? I am from the Philippines and she's from America. Opposite ends of the planet, sadly, I know. Why does Vesper look so small compared to Gebos? One, because she actually is. I'm taller, so being taller means I'm like larger everywhere else.
I'm also maybe a little slouched too.
Yes, it's the position and the camera angle.
We also have different anatomy too. So he's a Nova Beast. I'm a Luna Beast.
Yes, Luna beasts are generally more slender, more lit, Lithe, compared to Nova beasts. As you can see with my hands, I only have 4 digits compared to Vesper's 5. I think Vesper looks great, though. The differences actually adds a good contrast between me and her. Funny how she used to be a Nova Beast and she's the only one who evolved. I seem to be stuck in this form. Oh well, what can I do? Nothing wrong with being baseline. Contrasting colors. You have the cool, dark and blue Gebos, and then you have the white and orange. Yeah, she still has black though.
Yeah.
Good contrast.
Yes, as Geb put it when he first met me, you look like Halloween candy.
Geb doesn't have opposable thumbs. Sure, Frost, sure. It's a good form, says Van. Yes. Mystic's asking, do you two plan on attending the Oki Fest this week? Oki Fest? What's an Oki Fest?
I don't know.
What is that? Mind enlightening us what that's about, Mystic. Okinawa Festival. Alright, well, I know what it's named, but what's it about? Sounds like it's some Japanese-centric event. A beach. Oh, Okinawa, that's true. Isn't Okinawa like the summer capital of Japan or something similar to that? It's a beach themed tour, if you will. Funny. If Vesper's prepared for such things, I am clearly not.
Beach themed tour?
A beach themed tour, yeah.
Never been to a beach though.
Oh, that's right. Unlike me, who lives in a tropical coastal island country where beaches are everywhere, I could drive 15 minutes and there's a beach nearby. It's not exactly the cleanest though, but yeah. One day I shall let you experience the fantastic warm sands and your feet and the salty, cool breeze that is offered by an ocean.
Yeah, unlike him, I'm landlocked.
That's true. I've seen the geographic layout of the states. It isn't quite easy to get Vesper close to any coastlines.
Yeah.
But one day, maybe she can visit the Philippines and we can go to a beach, yes.
Hmm.
Sounds good, doesn't it, Chad?
Yeah. I mean, I've already got like a swimsuit with jellyfish on it, so hey.
She already comes prepared. Matthew says the Okinawa Festival runs on the 14th of March until the 13th. So that's
Hmm.
Friday to Sunday. Okay, it means we can attend at least one of the days. Also falls on the weekend, so I should have time, and so should Vesper once she's home from work. Let's see. You love it, cinnamon bun, says Mystic. Ah. Which means
Hmm.
I need to work on an optimized version of our avatars. Because I don't think very
Oh
poor
gosh.
is. Yeah. Yeah. Vesper has a swimsuit for the event, Matthew. You know us men, we don't need no fancy clothes. All I need is some pants or
Yeah,
shorts, and that's it.
I've got more outfit options than he does.
Bring swimming trunks. You know what? I'm actually gonna look for proper swimming trunks.
I mean, there are some for the Nova Beast, so you're good.
There is? Hmm. Guess
Yeah.
that's something I have to check out. I remember trying the Nova Beast boxers. It had physics in it.
Mm.
I definitely need to look for a different version of it. The face tracking is so nice, says Josh. Thanks. Either ways, man, it's really hot. Ooh. Casual gift. That would be quite the sight, wouldn't it? What? You aren't used to my coat.
Casual Gab would be interesting now that I think about it, though, because you're almost always in that coat.
I mean,
That or the explorer's outfit.
I. Uh,
Mm.
you want me to wear civilian clothes? Like everyday clothes, a shirt and shorts? I don't think it'll look good on me, chat.
I mean, the point of, well, comfy clothes isn't to look pretty, isn't it?
I'm plenty comfortable with my coat.
You're gonna be dying on that beach.
Look, whenever I go to a beach or something similar where the sun is blazing and there's very little cover to offer and there's a big body of water, I normally just take my top off, chat. I can't take out the tie though. It's hot glued to my body. Let's just stick with that fact.
Hot glue to your body.
Mm,
Hot glue isn't exactly a very efficient glue, but yeah, we'll just say that. We'll just say it's hot glue.
you never know till you're trying it. I Let's see. Sports clothes. Well, okay, chat. So this is normally my other summer-oriented clothing. It's clearly more breezy and it's short-sleeved. Gabos, how did you change clothes? Shh. Don't ask these questions. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Don't
about it.
worry
It's
about it.
fine.
Why the heck did they add ads here on Twitch? Because that's how Twitch, who is under Amazon, makes money. I think it will look great. Do you think this outfit of mine will look great? It's a belt I can't even secure.
I mean, there isn't any hole punched to secure it, so we probably fix that later. But I think it's probably more comfortable without the belt anyways. Without the belt fastened, that is.
True. Anywho, I feel strange being in this outfit. So we go back to how I usually am. Hi, Gibbous in chat. From a very suspiciously named person, VTubers Fangirl 43. You would make an excellent placeholder name for an NPC. But welcome to the stream all the same. What is this anyway? Hydrate. No, we're not drinking that because I am not paying for that.
Mm-mm.
Well, Matthew gave 100 biddies.
Boss, give me an advice from your expertise for clothes. I found 4 types of different clothes for a Nova Beast. My question is, how to upload it to the base model?
If it's purposely built for Nova Beast, any clothing that is usually tailored for a specific avatar is usually a drag and drop thing in Unity. Very simple. Thank you, VRC Fury, for simplifying the process. So you get the prefab, the Unity package, you drag it into your project folder, and then from there, usually it's just a matter of dragging the prefab, the little blue box, into your avatar, and then that's it. Goodbye and have a nice day. I still don't know what name to call you, but thank you so much. Don't drink on the the only thing I'll be drinking is non-alcoholic stuff. And no coffee. 100% no coffee. Now, as for the hydrate redeem, which I'm about to do right now. Desper, you too should drink.
I didn't bring anything to drink with me.
Huh?
So I'll have to hydrate after stream then.
I can't hear you from my drink.
Whoops.
Wow. Thank you, Mystic. Refreshing. You need to get a drink.
Yeah, I didn't
later.
bring anything to.
Good, that's
Yes,
amazing.
later,
Thanks.
of
Now
course.
I can add a good set of clothes. HOODIS I mean formal clothes UHM. I'm nothing silly, I promise.
Are you dead set on being a Nova Beast, Matthew? I thought you said you'd be an owl. Hayden says no coffee. How does a detective like yourself stay awake during the long hours then? Oh, I have my ways. It's more of having mental exercises going on and less reliance on chemicals such as caffeine. Stimulants will only work temporarily, chat, and then your body's gonna start not being happy if you keep on ingesting it.
He likes his mango juice.
Or drink mango juice like me, chat, and get ample amount of rest beforehand. Matthew says I like them too. The owl will be my primer. Well, Matthew, if there's anything I will suggest to you, stick to one avatar. I'm the type who finds it very difficult to sort of get used to people swapping between different forms. Like, it'll take a couple of good months for me to know that that's still you. Wow, if it isn't Wolfie. Hi there, my German friend. Welcome to the stream. I'll see you around, Blizzard. Gabos, I'm sorry, I've been looking all over. Oh, yeah, because my TikTok reset. And the Discord link is no longer up top. My bad, chat. How about next stream I put it up, right? I don't want to go set up stuff mid-stream. Also, by the way, chat, if you want to join my Discord server, it's only for people that are 18 and above, okay? Not because there's any funny content there. I just don't want to manage kids. Kids are the one thing I dislike more than greasy food. I'm not a kid's cat person, chat. I'm sorry. And I don't think neither is Vesper. I think she dislikes kids more than I do.
Yeah, no, when you have one clamp right on your wrist, and then later on you go to the doctors because, oh, hey, this hurts. This hasn't healed. Little brat gave me an infection from a bite.
So she got
And he brushed his
bitten
teeth.
by a kid that did not brush his teeth or doesn't have good oral hygiene, which promptly gave her an arm infection. I too will probably hold children in a view of disdain should that happen to me. Funny, speaking of Wolfie and Mystic, I did see a certain Wolfie dancing some MMD dances at Mystic stream earlier. I popped in the stream and then I think I promptly fell asleep after. Not your fault, Mystic. It's just my sleeping time. I love your avatars. Thank you so much, Snowy. Yes, very cute. Very cute. Oh, yes. Oh, okay, there you have it. Crowny is asking, a first-time chatter too. I'm making a character based on my persona. A character of yours based on me. Okay? Can I by any chance get some details of the design? So you wanna copy my design. Why will I let you copy my homework? I don't even know you.
It's okay to take inspiration, but not straight up copy. So sure, you can glance at what designs you can gather, but at the same time, that's pretty disrespectful to the artist to just straight up copy the markings.
Okay.
Like intentionally so.
Well, if you're not copying, the best pointers I can get is keep the design simple. Most other character designs in VR chat that I run into have overly complicated visual compositions. If you look at me, I actually have very, very simple but strong elements to my character, right? Very simple eyes. And I have my trademark tie. Like, if you see this tie, you know it's me, right? So think of these elements that your character is gonna have that will be indicative of their identity visually. Thank you, Aspak. What's this? Hayden says, well, I gotta go to work. I hope to catch you next stream. See you later, Geb. See ya, yeah. See you around, Hayden. Wolfie says that MMD is still his biggest fun. The many variety of dances in my eyes. True. Being able to see your magnum opus, your handcrafted avatar, do dances normally you aren't able to replicate perfectly IRL truly is a delight to watch. I think the only friend I know who doesn't need MMD dances would be Mechatronic Dragon because he's so good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if it isn't Archie? Gosh, it's been a couple of months. Welcome back and good morning. The coin missed you as much as I did, you know. So, Arts, we're here with Vesper. We're in a bistro, spending some time, downtime. What's this? Yes, we are in a cafe today. Trying to take in the sights. I wanted to be more refreshed. Oh, Vesper got meta. No, dear. It's okay. Take your time.
Dang it.
But yes, hello, Arch. How have you been? What is this music? Let's go back to the first one. There we go. Wow. Just like that, 52 minutes has already passed. Time seems to fly by really quick.
How long were we planning on streaming again?
Supposedly an hour and a half, but if my crowd, like the amount of viewers, grows more than that, then I'll stay longer. But if we're gonna have just a little bit, then I'll probably be going earlier. And go invite some friends to hang out. Why not? I'm not even gonna read that question of yours, Darwin. Oh dear. You know what? Let me check Discord. Did it update? And so Arch over here continues his subscription. It sounds like you're beat up from whatever you were doing, my friend. How about you go sit down, relax, enjoy the vibes. I just came from the airport. Oh, so you were traveling, I see. Business trip? I am now in Australia. Gosh, how I wish I could visit the land down under. I really do want to see my friend Mecca, and I believe Vesper too would want to say hello. It seems Vesper is running into a bit of technical troubles. Wi-Fi is spotty and all. Where in Australia? I I forget. He was in the south. I don't know what it's called. Was
Yeah,
it?
I don't remember either.
I don't remember. Was it Brisbane? Hmm. Perth.
He mentioned it before, so I don't know.
I see. Either Kanyan. Hold on. Let's see. I'm looking through my Discord. So the stream pings were. There we go. Lovely cafe picture. Archie's telling me to shush. Shush from what, Britta? Are there prying ears who shouldn't be hearing what I'm saying? I don't believe I'm discussing any form of sensitive information. What could it be?
Mm.
Vesper, were you Googling Nova B swim trunks the entire time we're discussing things on live? Priorities, I see.
I mean, you expressed interest. I tried to find some that were, well, catered to the Nova Beast.
I will check it out shortly, sure. Mystic says, I have returned from my walk and the cleanups. I'll catch you all in VR chat. I'll see you later. Definitely.
Oh, all right.
I wonder if I'm gonna see Matthew. Nah, your schedule dictates that you're gonna go to bed soon or something, right? I forget. Were you like an odd shift while you're masterfully washing kitchenware? You laugh, but they exist. Also, something more unique. That's Matthew. Unique? Unique what? Also, this table is so darn high.
I'm just keeping my hand in my lap because, you know,
I-
high table.
I know the table's so high. Oh, what can we do, chat? I don't own the cafe, so. Why is your avatar so detailed? Detailed? Gosh, yeah, among the Nova Bees, I am probably one of the more simpler designs. I have seen Nova Bees who are practically walking confetti. After you smash them up and all the shiny little bits falls on the floor. My goodness, I'm having a problem with my card. You know, Art, you can always see if it works by typing !tip and see if things go through, right? Right? I'm a ghost, Gib. Can't hear me. I
And
can't
now
hear
you're a
you.
double ghost.
And there we have it. Bye, Argon. Please don't be an attention seeker in chat. You're gonna get bonked by Vesper. And that's really bad for you. Thank you, Stephanie.
As entertaining as it can be. Let's spare everyone the annoyance.
Yep. Hi there, Leia. Welcome to the stream. Anong oras na ba? 7:00 na ng umaga. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat, mga kababayan. That's me greeting the Filipino viewers. I said, alas 7 means it's 7 a.m. Hey, it's that guy again, says Belia. Yes, it is I, a genie that will not grant any wishes. Maybe to Vesper, but yeah. No, no wishes for you? Okay, sure. Yeah. Not even if I rub a
Only
lamp.
wishes that.
I might reconsider if you pad my wallet with some but yes, let's not go that route. Anywho, next question. I'm a very money-driven individual. Why do you think we go to work? So we get a paycheck, right? What? Detective telling me your most intriguing cases. Intriguing? Off the top of my head, was there something we tackled, Vesper, that we can call intriguing?
Not quite sure that was cleared for
Discussion.
public discussion, though.
That's true. Unfortunately, our lips are sealed. Oh,
Someone we can talk.
there was one. It's about a dog who, whenever he goes and vaults over a fence or something that's above waist height, typical in an average human being, his skeleton changes to that of a biped instead of the quadruped that he is. You normally only see it from recording devices, but never when you observe directly. He's a dog by all means, Norman all throughout, when you look at him. But when you don't, you could swear that he is standing as tall as you are. For you could feel his breath just by your neck. Peculiar case, isn't it? I need to send you like some of the footage in case you missed it.
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh, this is the swimming trunks. Oh man, these are some gaudy
Your
colors.
TikTok live closed.
Oh, it did due to inactivity.
What?
Because I'm gonna go live again. I didn't get a notification this time.
Talking there. True.
Now, well. Now, let me find that footage. There we go, Vesper. I sent you a snippet of it. Look at this German Shepherd. I think I need to re-enable my notifications on TikTok because it surely did not warn me that I was live. But did you see it? Did
Yeah.
you see what I mean by
see
the
what
dog?
you mean.
That is most bizarre. Now, where on earth are my notifications? Notifications and actions. There we go. So TikTok Studio, there we go. I'm turning it back on because it was being funny. Arch is having problems with his back. Oh dear. Mm-mm.
Oh no.
Why did you end the
So it
TikTok live?
seems
I didn't
there's
mean to.
something.
Sorry, you're saying Vesper.
Nope. I said, seems like there's something anomalous going on with things nowadays then, huh?
Yep. I hope you get it
Sent to
fixed.
investigate that too.
That is not under our department though. Bank.
Yeah.
That's customer care. I'm back. I'm sorry. I didn't notice the TikTok warning that was inactive for 5 minutes and they automatically closed my live. But alas, here we are. We're back. Hi there, John. I know, it's annoying as heck, in all honesty. Whew. Shucks. Dark Wolf says, I'm loving how your avatar movements animations. Thank you. I may not be the most animated, especially in an exaggerated means, but I try to be as naturally lifelike as possible. I thought I was banned, says Ivan. No, my live ended. I'm sorry. my, my bad. I really didn't mean to. Oh, this is rather long. Okay, Matthew. Let's hear it.
Alright, boss, time to leave. Gotta hit to work in the morning. Holidays are over, time to make the week count. I'll check the worlds you recommend me. Hope to sort this matter soon. Good night, evening or morning. Goodbye, Vesper, and goodbye, chat. Keep the smiles and the good vibes out.
Yeah, there you have it, what Matthew said. Also, chat, is my microphone picking up static or something? Do you hear it, Vesp? No. I'm just probably imagining things then. Hello, Torm. But yeah, I'll see you around, Matthew. I'm glad you're here in VR chat and things are okay. See you in game soon, yeah? Franz is saying in Tagalog, hello there to the lovely lady who's sitting with you at the table. There's Vesper, ever so lovely companion. Also, ruthless moderator on TikTok and Twitch. Ano, Arch? Wala pa rin? Yun lang. GG. Paano yan? Hotel booking, gastos yun sa mga pagkain and other shit. Can we return to the dog dilemma case again? You mean the weird dog? That's the most I can say.
Yeah, we can't disclose a lot about our missions. Sorry.
You know what's funny, Arch? A friend of mine, Wolfie, is also having trouble with his bank. So he says he can only get it resolved by around end of this month. So chat, I'm so sorry. It seems all of our usual players of the wagers, yes, that flip the coin, is unable to do anything until 2 weeks later. Yeah, so no wagers, chat. A little boring, I know, a little disheartening, but what can we do? Banking troubles and all. Ang dami mo naman bangko. I only have one bank, Arch. Union Bank. Oh, hi there, Onyx. Thank you for the kind words. Mm-mm. Gcash? Are you? It's okay, Arch. It's cool. Look, Arch, ayusin mo na lang yung PayPal mo. Kagi, Gcash mo pa. Wait, are we even friends on Discord? I don't remember. Pero i-PayPal mo na lang, like the usual, if you feel like it. Here's the magical PayPal link. Jajan. Andrew says, your VR has the best graphics I've ever seen. That's funny. I'm just using the in-game graphics. Nothing fancy here. See, there's Vesper. No, she's naturally lovely. And we're just in the world that's named Bistro. Nothing fancy. Send request. Sure, Arts. Just add me up if you want. Don't be rude to Vesper. I'm not rude to Vesper. Am I being rude to you, love?
No, no. You're quite polite, honestly. At least in comparison to a lot of other people I've been around.
True, true. Genex, yes I do. Same channel name if you want to look for my Twitch. Hi there, Lyra. So here you are, was watching two people chilling by a cafe. A stretch redeem, huh? I have been getting a rather sore shoulder, so why not? It's my left one, chat. It's been kind of achy tonight. The Inception Cafe. I know what you're talking about. Have you watched the movie Inception, Vesp? Oh, that movie's a masterpiece.
No.
All right. Maybe we go watch it sometime. Who says? How long have you known Vesper? Oh, darling, how long has it been?
Well, we've known each other since
June.
4th of July for you.
4th of July. So, August, September, October, November, December. 9 months. 9 months. 3 more months short of a year, chat. Check DM. Okay, what did Art send? There is absolutely nothing in my DMs. Pending. All online. I don't see it. Oh, Twitch. God damn it. How do I even do that?
Oops.
Oh, I have to log in the site. Okay, fine. For Arch, who's been a big supporter, we shall go the extra mile and we shall look at my phone. Oopsie daisy. Hello, Twitch. Oh my goodness, Vest. What was that with the mic? Whoa. That blew my eardrums off.
What?
Yeah, you must have pressed something.
I don't know what that was. I
Yup.
was in the middle of a lag spike, so maybe that could have been it.
Maybe.
Sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good. My ear, says Stephanie. Chat, I'm so sorry about that. The Quest Pro has its own quirks. The mic isn't exactly what I'd call stellar, owing that I myself own a Quest Pro as well.
Yeah, I traded for the ability. I traded mic quality for the ability to move my face.
Yeah, so let's just say it's like 20% less better. Yes, the Quest Pro actually has a crappier mic than the Quest 2. Not because of hardware, but because of the extremely aggressive noise canceling that they have that you can't turn off.
Yeah, not really much you can do about it.
Also, Arch, I replied to your DM. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna send the request, but guide me with this. Why, thank you, Star. Okay. You know what? Is there such a thing as a beginner's guide to?
Oh, YouTube is an easy one for that.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Arch, hold on, my friend. Let me help you with that. Yeah. What is Vesper's TikTok tag, if I may ask? Vesper, I think this is something best that you answer. I'm just doing some phone
As
stuff.
for
Okay.
stitches,
There you go, Vesper Stitches.
simple.
Nice and simple.
I don't really post anything there though. That's mostly because I am here.
Yes.
I'm both companion and helper, so I leave the content making to Gab.
Yep, all the hard work I do. You just sit there and relax.
I do what I can.
How do I do that? I got it. Hold on, Arch. I didn't know you could do it this way. Done. Oh, Gibsec, there's PayPal mode on Twitch. Yeah, of course. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to help a viewer access the tip thing. So I'm gonna type it one more time. See if that works, because if that doesn't work, it means it's something I have to review myself. Hi there, Midas. Glad you like the place. Pretty nice, isn't it? Fortunately, I don't have the dolly system anymore. I had to downgrade from chat. Small tip: if you're experiencing like fishbone issues with the VR chat open beta, just go back to the normal client and it should resolve itself. Me and Vesper ran into a problem where some of her bones would disappear, and yeah, I thought it was a Unity thing until I realized, hey, hold on. Yes.
So, yes, it made me look like I had a muscle spasm in my tail.
Yes. Oh?
Hmm?
Here's your baon for work. Oh my goodness. What? In all honesty, I thought it was just gonna be a joke. But thank you. Now, you know what's funny, Arch? You weren't here. I was talking about this in stream. Now, when I said, here's your bound for work, that was a message earlier for a tip. In English, it means or here's your allowance, essentially. And I was discussing on stream how Vesper and I aren't exactly the most well-paid agents there are, and there's actually very little lunch allowance given to us by whoever is employing us. So yeah, getting every teeny tiny bit of support actually does help an enormous amount. Even though I don't say it, chat, every single bit of coin you send my way, I'm always so thankful for. Arch is not the type to joke. Arch, aside from the stuff you just sent, which I am so grateful for, I'm also glad you're back. You were there all the time during streams, so you would pop up randomly and you would always put us on edge with your ginormous wagers. Truly. And then all of a sudden things got quiet and I thought you dropped off the radar. So yeah, welcome back. Hope you're doing okay there. I pop in once in a while. Yes. Oh, hi there, Shopao. Liking the little date setup. So there's Vesper, super cute. Vesper cams. There's her face. There's me. I think you all know how I look at this point. Art, yes, when you are online and I'm not busy. I forget, are you in the Discord server? I'm always there every day. Slade. Shop out here does some really fantastic art. Unfortunately, she's unable to give as much time as she wants into doing commissions and work, like personal projects, because she is currently suffering through the woes of thesis in college. And we all know how much of a emotional challenge that is. Yes, chat, it made me cry too before, especially as an animation student. Had to hand draw a minute and a half. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Shop out here is in college. You are not in the Discord. What? I think you need to join, good sir. Invite people. I am posting the link in 3, 2, 1. Ta-jan! There you have it. That is the Discord link to its viewers. Your count is off. Well, my apologies. It's a latency curse. Yes. Shopao says, I can't wait to get into Thesis Part 3. Production. Shopao, I think you're an incredibly talented artist. I've seen your work. You're so much better than anything I could have made before. So I think you'll do just great. Coming from me and coming from Vesper.
Hmm. I always adore seeing your art.
Yes. I'll see you around, Onyx. Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you could say hello on the stream. Hi there, Axel. Thank you, Ian. Magandang umaga din sa'yo. T. Billy, greetings. I'm gonna stick with this. Nothing's more bistro than a track that says afternoons in France. It's exactly the setting of this place. Well, I think it's more early morning, but yeah. Vesper, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you sleeping?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So the first thing you do as you chat is dump something from your end about something I didn't ask about. Not off to a great start, dear Axel. Now, I'm not gonna bonk you in the head, but I don't know about Vesper. Are you good at math? Nope. I failed algebra 3 or 4 times. Yes, chat. I'm that bad. With complicated math. Funny enough, anything that involves money, though, I can just mentally compute. Why? Because it's something I have a proper application for in real life, and it's something I can relate to. So my brain actually works.
Yeah, no, if you want to see anyone who did pass algebra the first try, that would be me.
Congratulations to Vesper for being ever so smart in mathematics.
He's got the street smarts, I have the school smarts.
That's true. Mhm. I'm more of a wise ass than a smart ass. There you have it. Piano Ghoul, hi there. It's so lovely to see you. Let me go sit properly for you. Yeah, nice to see you. I'm glad you could drop by stream. I dropped by your stream earlier. You were with somebody who was dark and then somebody else on your right. I forgot what their names were, but it was in passing when I was like out and about and on my phone. Piano says your stream setup looks so high quality. It's insane. High quality? I mean, it's probably just the good world and whatnot. See, nothing fancy here. Just a regular old cafe. Were you there? Yes, Piano. I actually lurk during your streams when I can. It's just that I'm a little embarrassed to say hi because yeah, there's no excuse to it. That's it. So my apologies. What's this? How do I get into the Discord? What do you mean? You click the link. Oh, hold on.
Ask you about the password.
I got it. I got it. So that's your question. All right, don't worry about it. I see. Let's do that. The job. Let's remove that. And there you have it. Thank you for calling customer service, sir. Is there anything else I can help you with? Good. No such thing as bypasses. You simply DM'd me the proper password. What's this? Direct is asking me, good day, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. As you can see, I'm with the Vesper over here. I want them poses. Poses? You mean like
Mhm.
there we go. I took a nice photo. Natatakpan mo yung tail niya. Oh shoot, sorry chat. It's my long leggies being in the way. There we go. So yeah. Good morning, Xiaolong Bao. It's been a while. Nice to see you here. So I can get some art. Ooh, art is always nice. You should check out the
Oh.
fan art channel. There's a whole bunch of talented people out there who's made really fantastic doodles. Xiaopao here is one of the artists. I think it's because of her random strokes of inspiration of making a gender bent version of who she's watching. Yes, that's. So weird that I have to think of Geb kissing him. But anyway, don't worry about it. Looks great. I like it.
I mean, hey, it's it's another version of me, so isn't that bad?
That's true. That's true. Xiaolong Bao says, I got a new job, so I've been busy. Well, congratulations to you.
Congrats.
New set of challenges, new sets of victories to achieve. So yeah. Vesper looks so gorgeous. Isn't it nice? Look at this chat. It's sort of like a cutscene from Bioshock Infinite if you look at it, if you know that game. Right? Isn't it cool? As I've said, I try my best to make the stream look like cutscenes from a game. Calling Vesper Posper. That sounds like Bosporus, which is an extremely flammable substance, but to be fair, coming from Vesper sounds just about it's right. Look at her arm. Tell me that doesn't look like that's constantly on fire. Well, burning. Ember. Soot. Star. Other words that synonymizes with heat. And here I thought you were going to work. Me? Work? After stream, probably. I like dragons. Who's dragons here? I guess I count, minus the horns. Was a Vesper here. Mark is asking, what accent do you have? Vesper? That's the American accent. Gabus has a Filipino accent. Or the Gabus accent. Because I actually don't sound super Filipino. I can if I want, like, put effort into it. Turn my F's into P's and this and that. I guess I grew up a bit weird. That's why I sound this way.
Yeah, nobody's gonna guess where I'm at from my accent alone, so that's a good thing for me.
Over there. Chens Owel. Ventilador. Look, why do you want me to speak with a Filipino accent? It's I think it's there. Most of the Filipino viewers that I have say that I still have it, but it's just not as prominent as the usual. So I don't know what answer to give people whenever they ask what accent I have. So I just tell them where I'm from, which is I'm from the Philippines. 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 I remember someone saying that. Philippines. Pili, pili in our language means choose. So choose your, yeah. I
Choose
don't
your
know.
fighter.
Yep, yep. I'm thirsty, damn. I'm gonna go drink, chat. Chat, it's time for us to have a little hydration break. Can I do this while holding my controller? There we go.
Yeah, no, if I go hydrate, I'm gonna have to entirely leave my room.
Nah, are you thirsty though? I mean, you can. You can just come back.
Not really.
Then if you're fine, then you don't have to. It's a curse and a blessing. Oh, I agree. Hydrate when you need to, Vesper, says Shoppa. Yeah, of course. I'm having a look at the camera and I think the shot actually looks really nice. This environment is very refreshing, though. To be fair, maybe it's a bit hot. Nothing to worry about. Ang ganda sobra. Ang ganda ba, Siopaw? Puta, di ba? Ang ganda ng setting. How does it look if I like zoom out, zoom out? There you go. So you can like see the street. It's strange. Or if you zoom in. Oh, sorry, TikTok. You can't see it, but Twitch can. Let's just go back to that one. Very establishing shot. You need to touch me up on what like the proper shots are for cinematography. It's been so long since I've actually like studied. Who is that girl? Wayne, that is Vesper.
Hi.
Oh shit, sorry, my bad. It looks like film. There we go, filmic shots. The shot that's usually long or extreme long shot that shows you where the scene is happening. Yeah, the establishing shot. I remember that. And then we have this. The person A, person B. This is more of a POV shot. So you have an idea what's it like from my point of view when I'm conversing with Vesper. Hence a little hand in the depth of field. Little things. Immersion. I got an added, so I am so sorry. I have no control over this, in all honesty. Raymead is asking, what do you do for hobbies? I tinker with my motorcycle, I watch motorcycle reviews, and I ride my motorcycles. It's one part of my hobbies. And then I take care of my aquariums, my fish. I sometimes draw in my free time. I just borrow. Yes, just yeah, keep it at that. I'm working on a webcomic. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. And what other hobbies do I have? Spending time with friends, playing games with friends. Also, Action's been
You
asking
take
me
care
a
of your
question.
aquarium plants.
Yes, I
Oh.
love taking care of aquatic plants. Geb, I need city name suggestions. Playing some city skylines. You can always name it Doomsville. And then have all sorts of natural disasters occur. What bike? IBRB, I ask again later. I can tell you what it is now, Arch. Unfortunately, I only have 3 cameras I can cycle between. I wish I could have like at least 5. It would be lovely. I would want to have shots where it's just focusing entirely on my hands or somewhere lower here, you know, those things. But unfortunately, I'm limited between what we have. At the very least, I want to have at least one establishing shot so you guys know where we are. And like, as the name implies, it establishes that I'm having a conversation in the presence of another person. right? Waist up the medium shot. So I just like zoom out this one. Hi. No, that's my niece. If I zoom out some more, you're gonna see Vesper eventually. This is like the GoPro version. But yeah, Vimikyu and Chopin. I usually try the over the shoulder shot. So in this one, but I think having the POV shot where the hand shows is a more personal touch. Like how they do it in first person games, right? Like, what time is it? Got it. Right? Yeah, it's more personal this way, especially if I purposely put my hand here in front, so you know I'm making gestures and whatnot. Here you go, shop out. Yeah, there you go. Are you gonna stream a day after tomorrow? Ask Ivan. Oh, I most definitely will. Tomorrow I'll be doing soaring fitness with Vesper and hopefully Mecha. And then the day after, which is a Thursday, I will be back here in exploring more worlds. Maybe, who knows? We might be back in the cafe. This is refreshing to be in. It's nice, it's outdoorsy, there's a lot of detail in the environment. It's nice and bright.
Yeah. It's not like what's not to like about it.
That's true. Agent 02. You know, Vesper is a fan of 02.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Good old Calaxosaur girl. Shopao almost dropped the phone. What? How about this? Let's try this. Come on. Give her a dance. See, isn't this cool? Something only you can do in VR. Imagine if you're VTubers, your friends, your couples, right? And then you want yourself to interact with each other. You can do it in VR chat. Fantastic platform. It bridges these gaps which people consider enormous when they live in different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. So if I really wanted to, I could reach over and pet his ears, but that would be pretty rude, considering we're midstream.
I'm gonna check TikTok again, maybe. Doing the funny thing where, ooh, you're not live. Vimiku says, I never asked, but do you need specific equipment to enjoy VR chat? No, actually you don't.
No?
To enjoy VR chat, all you need, absolute minimum, is a phone, Android or iOS, and you can play the VR chat. But the next step up is playing in desktop. Desktop recently got an update in which hands and face tracking is recognized by just using a phone. So you can actually interact with your VR using friends with just your desktop. Before, desktop users are just very stiff. They don't have anything. And then ideally you experience VR chat through the lens of VR equipment, because that way you're transported into this 3D space where everything is to scale, everything is like actually here. Like if I look here, the tables are right in front of me. Vesper is like right there, and there's a sense of depth, a sense of scale, and it's wonderful. Especially if you have a good PC. A VR headset it acts as a window to a different world. That's the best way I can describe it, in all honesty. It's a wonderful, magical feeling. Absolutely is. Shopao says, I want to try it. Oh, are you talking about the desktop with the... Yeah, you don't have to be so stiff anymore. You need to Google it. VR chat desktop face tracking phone thing. I don't know the specifics. I've just seen it in passing. Hi there, Kate. Owl, I'm using a MetaQuest Pro. Do you guys ever get nauseous with the VR headset? Not really. The first time I used VR, for a few days I was, because I've never used virtual reality before. But after that, it just feels natural to slip it on, in all honesty.
Yeah, it took me like maybe an hour to get used to it.
To a Vesper just took an hour, yeah.
Then again, yeah. Then again, before like I bought my first headset, which was a Quest 2. My first introduction into VR was this small convention in my town, and there was this thing you could sign up for, like, oh, you can try out a VR headset. Okay, this is cool.
Mm, yeah.
I think it was some sort of Portal Labs game. So yeah, that was my first jump into
Oh.
VR.
Don't be like me. My first dive into VR is like, oh, heck yeah, I have a headset. Load like a 4K video of you being in a roller coaster and don't chat. I had motion sickness so bad that even if when I took my headset off for the first time I've ever used it, I could still feel it while lying down on my bed.
Ooh.
So roller coaster things, definitely not the first thing you want to dive into, as tempting as it is. Start something simple like walk arounds with like what Vesper was talking about. So you're just, you know, the desktop face tracking, says Wolfie. Yes. It would be nice to have Shopao hang around again. Definitely.
Yeah, I missed her.
Yeah, we miss you, Shops. Okay, got it. No roller coaster for beginners. Don't. 100% don't. One of the nice things to experience when you first get VR is 360 videos of nature. Like you going to a savannah and then you see like lions and everything, and it's pretty cool. Thank you, Vesper. Can you imagine that? Just
No
here
problem.
live on stream talking to you, but she's also moderating live. What a feat. Oh, so you may want to place
Well,
space
not
to
in-
your
not in-
left, like a couple of inches. That's it. They're perfect. That's
There we
exactly how I want it. Working Queen Vesper. Right? Van Wolf says, my first experience in VR was getting in VR chat and being flashed by some. Okay, yeah, there's always gonna be bad eggs in any community, and you had the unfortunate encounter with one of them. Vimiku says, thank you for the answers. I had VR chat for a while, but never went it due to lack of mobility when in desktop. But I will give it a try now. Good luck, Vimiku. Can you guess the world? Van Wolf, I take it it's the Black Cat, a McDonald's, or what else is really bad? The Great Pug is a little better, but I'm not sure. I don't hang out there. The Black Cat, oh my goodness. To be
Oh,
fair,
gosh, yep, that's
yeah, the Black Cat is notorious for that. That's
to be
sort of.
expected.
Mm. I think the first world you go through is aside from the VR chat home where you log in, is you go to the avatar dynamics test.
Prisma's
It's
avatar,
no, not Prismix.
or
It's
that
the
avatar
blue
dynamics.
one. Yeah, the avatar dynamics where it's color blue. I still remember the first guy I talked to. It's also his first day logging into VR chat. We're like, wow, this is amazing, right? Yeah, it's amazing. And I still remember the magic. I wish I could go back and just feel that again. It's so good.
Oh wait, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I wasn't there like a gosh, how long ago was it when Fizzbones were released anyways? Because I think I was there for that.
Oh. I'm not. I don't know. Shoppa says, when I was in the Black Cat before, I felt like being in a wild high school party where people that hate each other and they're drunk fighting. Yep, that's pretty much it. I do Quishing.
April 21st, 2022. So I was still on desktop.
Oh.
Hmm.
Man, that's been a while, huh?
Mm-hmm. So Fizzbones have been here for like 3 whole years now.
Yeah. Anubis sent some. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Anubis. I'm sorry. The gifts aren't showing up again because I have to like to reset up my TikTok widgets and stuff.
The power of the ban removes you.
Don't worry about it. I don't even give these people attention. The power of the ban removes you. Ah, yes, Vesper, my darling, my blunt instrument of moderation. Yep. You know what would
Yeah,
make
no,
this
we
world
try to
perfect?
be entirely respectful here, so don't try to get religion involved.
Yes. No politics, no religion, and then we're cool. Chat. But yes, I was saying, it'd be cool if like there's wind blowing on the trees and whatnot. Nice old bush across the street. But I think that would be asking a bit too much. Maybe one of these days I'm gonna commission just a huge world that's like a movie set of different places. Oh, okay. It seems like Vesper had to excuse herself for a while. So you're stuck with me for the meantime, champ. Yeah, maybe. But that's gonna be an enormous undertaking, though. Oh dear. Chat, it's actually been almost 2 hours. So I might just have to go within the next 5 minutes. The face tracking stuff is still under construction. Oh no, sorry to hear. Go enjoy Monster Hunter VMQ. You know, if I actually move up a bit, there we go. Go ahead. Whoa. Oh wow. Yawny. No work? Nah. Well, maybe. Let's see. It depends on who's online. Good morning, Skylar. I thought you left, Arch. You said you were in the airport, right? Are you just passing time before you... No. You're not waiting for a, like, interconnecting flight or anything, right? Right? Okay. Gotcha. I was just wondering why you're still here. Bury the coin. Ching. Okay. Gotcha. Oh dear. I can't stay here indefinitely, chat. It's like I have to say goodbye in a bit. Hi there, Angeli. I'm yawning because I am a bit sleepy, but I shall linger on for 2 more minutes for you guys. Sure, why not? What time is it? It is currently 8:09 a.m. Don't you have a clock? Can you smile for me? Are you and Mystical Aurora friends? Mystical Aurora is one of my closest friends. I have around 5 or 4 people that I consider within my circle. Funny, right? It's such a contrast to the amount of followers I have. Gib, you only have 5 friends? Yes, it's the quality over quantity when it comes to me. So, pick your friends, chat. Might join you in VR chat. I was just about to tell you to hop on, Axiom. Should have brought my VR. I mean, what was stopping you? Axiom, check it out. My ear properly collides with my arms now. Cool, huh? It's in the pH. Oh no. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Do mine as well. You have to put colliders on your forearms. See, like your forearm. Mhm. Oh, Vesper got some food. Okie dokie. Oh, sorry, Chad. You, you have to excuse me. Nah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I got an ample amount of rest. Don't worry about it. I'm good. Hi there, Vincent. Okay, chat. It's been 2 hours. I was actually only supposed to stream 1 hour and a half today, but we had a bit of a surprise. We had Anonymous earlier who gave something, and then we have a surprise guest, which is Art, who I haven't seen in a long while, and I dare not want to deprive him of the company and entertainment that my stream provides. But yes. But I just got here. Fine, 5 more minutes for Vincent Hayes. Also, Vesper went out to eat. I'm starting to slouch a lot, chat, so I would probably look very bad. There we go. Oh man, the yawning ain't going away. Put my thing there. What happened to the last stream? Oh, the one earlier. Well, TikTok said and thought that I was inactive for 5 minutes, and I did not see the little captcha that I needed to solve because I went and disabled the Windows notifications. I probably re-enabled that now so that doesn't happen again. Trying to do the face tracking, I found Meow Face. Shopao made me say it. Nobody heard it. But yes, that should work too. There you have it, chat. If you heard it, you heard it. No, you didn't hear it, Axiom. That was normally a very expensive redeem. What's your nationality? I am Filipino, chat. Yep. What? Is it surprising? Hi there, Ali. Magandang umaga din sa'yo. Vincent says, Gebos, every 5 minutes, I'm Filipino, I'm Filipino, I'm Filipino. Yeah, just, I sort of understand why people keep on asking. I do sound unusual. I don't sound American. I don't sound exactly European either. Nor do I have the usual Asian accent. You know what I mean. It does get a bit tiring at times, but what can I do? Oh my goodness, it's Yura. I sound what? Go ahead. Does it start with a K and ends with an E? Go ahead. Finish your sentence. Oh, there we have it. Vesper's greeting here. Yes, Yora's been having a bit of a cold, so for the past this past weekend, she wanted to draw, but she couldn't, and yeah, I hope she recovers soon too. Ali's asking, "What can you do? It comes with being a fox dragon. What can I do?" Um, Staff. Detective, thoughts on the vigilante gargoyle roaming New York? Is it the one where he has like a bunch of friends and he has like long hair, is color gray? I think it's also because of the depth in your voice. Ah, cute. A cutie. That's right. I'm cutie. Man, cutie. What am I gonna eat for lunch now that I think of? I still have some lemon spicy tuna. Comes in convenient cans. Should be good. You may be wondering where Vesper is. She's grabbing some food. Why isn't she grabbing food right here already in a cafe? Cafe food is often more expensive than other places, if you know what I mean. Have you ever tried buying a pie from a cafe and it's priced at a ridiculous like $4 per slice? Oh my god, the moped. What you see behind me is probably a Lambretta. But usually just eat it and live with it. Ah, yes. Better to get a cheap sandwich somewhere else. Yes. What world is that? Because you ask not so nicely. It starts with a B and ends with an O. My birthday is here. Am I still in the chair? I think I'm super slouching. There we go. Ah. No, the pies here should just be like $1 most. Well, to be fair, I am talking about the egg pie. Have you guys tried egg pie from your local bakery? I think the equivalent is a custard pie. It's this thick, and then like 90% of it is custard. It's delicious. Yeah, remember, I live in the Philippines. Things are supposed to be cheap here. He is very bonjour today. Oh, very much so. Is cake considered egg cake since there's egg in it? Yes. Yeah, so inhaled some juice, chat. A slice of cherry pie is like $3 here, says Vincent. Ooh, pricey. Shopao, you may want to look into VRCFT. Let me type it down for you. Google that. VRCFT desktop. You might be able to get your answers there. I'm in France. Hello, you know. Yura says, just steam some sweetened milk and egg for the pie. Is that all? It was just milky egg all along. It's my favorite pie. Goodness gracious. How did we get up to 60 viewers on TikTok? Good morning. I bet most of you are curious as to who and what I am. Hi, chat. It sounds, oh, it is delicious, Vesper. One of these days, all of the treats that I've been telling you about, you will most definitely get to try. I miss the food chant. I miss it too. Makarov. Whoa, hand tracking. That was freaky. We have definitely extended more than the 5 minutes for Vincent. So, tell me, chat, do I linger a bit longer and wait for Vesper to return? Or do I go skedaddle now while it's still early? What would it be? Vesper said she's returning soon. Fine, let's wait for Vesper. And then she can start saying the goodbyes. So be it. Why not? Hello, phones. Kimmy. What is your favorite country apart from your own? I don't know. I haven't really been traveling around, so I can't give a proper opinion. What do you usually eat for like dinner or lunch? I have recently been taking a liking to the jerky that I've been making, homemade, experimenting with all sorts of marinades, spices. I eat very simple, chat. I usually just have nice soft rice and like some meat or vegetables if they're there. Yeah, homemade jerky. Yesterday, no, a few days ago, something I ordered from online shopping arrived. It's a dehydrator. It's such a fantastic machine. Either Golden, thank you. Anubis. The way I make my jerky is it's raw, just raw slices of pork and beef. That's it. It's just filleted raw beef and pork, and then I just put some pepper, a dash of mirin, some soy sauce, one part soy sauce, one part water, so it's not so salty, and then some Japanese seven spice, and then yeah, just put it in the dehydrator for at least 10 hours, and then you ended up with very nice, thin and crispy, crumble in your mouth jerky. No preservatives and whatnot too. I heard things like ketchup tastes different there. You probably have heard of the infamous banana ketchup. Now, we have the usual Heinz and Hunt's tomato ketchups here too, which I actually prefer. But banana ketchup is different. It's sweeter, it's shinier, if that even makes sense. Banana ketchup is actually so good. It works perfectly with fried chicken and sunny side up egg. Trust me. Thank you, Glisten. Look, Yura, I want you to look at normal chunky tomato ketchup versus the Papas. Yeah, it's branded Papas. Papas banana ketchup. You see what I mean by shinier. So you're also an enjoyer of the fried chicken. Hayes, please. Fried chicken is so good. And I mean the properly breaded, the freshly cooked, tender, juicy, glistening fried chicken that you can just. Mm-hmm. If Geb had the spirit animal, it would be fried chicken. Axiom says, "What would that work in an air fryer?" Funny enough, I actually tried my air fryer first. As long as your temperature is around 80 degrees Celsius, nothing more, it should work, Axiom. Banana ketchup is great for marinating barbecue, says Yura. Correct. If you come here and visit the Philippines, you see, you're often gonna run into, and by often I mean every corner of the neighborhood, you're gonna find somebody like grilling skewered meat. And it all has the distinct Filipino like barbecue flavor to it. Yeah. So thanks, phones. It sounds so good. It absolutely does. Why do you have a coin in your left hand? This is my left hand. Now there's a coin in my left hand. Why do I have it? Because I like playing with my coin. As you can see. So what's the specialty food that you could only get in the Philippines? Only get? Filipinos, help me out here. Anong pagkain meron lang dito sa atin na wala sa Amerika at ibang bansa? So, first thing that comes into mind is probably sisig or halo-halo. But yeah, sisig is, oh man, probably one of the best things you can ever eat with rice. sisig that's kind of hot. So it's like diced pig, pork. Gonna say which part, so you're not grossed out. But it's just diced pork. It's so good. It has skin. It has meat. It has onions. Ideally, it has this unique blend of mayonnaise on it, and oh, lechon. Adobo, puto, and kuchinta. Ah, yes. Have you ever had ceviche? I think so. Guess who's back? So yeah, with Vesper finally back, we can go cap off the stream and wish you all a lovely day. You wanna say goodbye to Yura and the gang? I can't hear you, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
There you have it.
Sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, let's cap off the stream with Vesper, wishing you all goodbye.
All right. Bye, chat. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and make sure to get enough sleep, okay?
There you have it. So yeah, chat, thank you for joining us in this lovely little cafe setting that we had today. I will definitely be catching you day after tomorrow. It's been very nice to be in a different environment for once. That's for sure. Now, let me know also if you guys like the change in scenery. I so far have gotten nothing but positive reactions, which is great. And yeah, I think that's it, Vesper. So good morning, good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
good evening,
And good night.
and good night. I'll see you around,
Oops.
chat.
We need to practice that. Sorry.
We definitely need to practice that. So yeah, let's go turn off the TikTok stream first. See you, TikTok. Magandang umaga, bayan. I feel like I'm touching grass with this
Sorry about
BJ.
that.
Yes. Stuff. Oh my, there's a clip of me. Ah, okay.
Mm.
I wonder what that is. Anywho, alright. Is anybody on my friend streaming? Nope, I'm not logged in Twitch, never mind. So yeah, without further ado, again, see ya. Twitch, it's been super fantastic, super nice. Yeah, bye bye. No raids, no nothing funny. Don't worry, I don't want to complicate things anywho. To my friends who wanted to hang out with me in VR chat, Axiom, Mystic, I guess I'll be seeing you in a few minutes, yeah? Bye.